waste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the City of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, Visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, The centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the City of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for His Worship the Mayor?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's council meeting. Please be seated. And I'll open the meeting at 7:06. And I'll call for apologies. I have apologies from Councillor Bayani, Councillor Arifi and Councillor Rentoulis. Are there any other apologies for this evening? No, I think everybody else is present. We'll move to item 2, confirmations of minutes. The minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 25th of March 2025 will be confirmed as a true and accurate record of proceedings, and the minutes for the special council meeting held on the 15th of April 2025 be confirmed as a true and accurate record of proceedings. Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Move both of those. Don't wish to speak.
Don't wish to speak. Thank you, Councillor. Does it find a seconder? Councillor Stroud.
Happy to second. Don't wish to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wishing to speak? Amend or discuss the said minutes? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? Okay, that carried. We move to item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any? Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I have an interest in item 15.3. As the item in this report relates to myself and other items, I have declared a conflict of interest in that one.
Thank you, Councillor Smallwood-Smith. Are there any other declarations? Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Just declaring a conflict of interest in item 15.4. So one of the items considered involves my employer, so I'll leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor Norris. Any other declarations? Councillor Carlson.
Thank you. I'm just declaring a conflict of interest for 15.5. The item relates to my place of employment, and I previously called a conflict on this item, so I'll maintain consistency and leave the room.
Councillor, any other declarations? Councillor Baker.
Declare an interest in item 15.3. There is an item there relating to me personally, so I will leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor Baker. Any other declarations? Councillor Smilgenic.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I have a material conflict of interest on item number 15.3. One of the items within attachment number 2, I had previously declared a conflict of interest, which may or may not affect my employer. Therefore, I will leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there any other declarations? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Item 15.3, I'm a Norma Board member. Previously, I did declare a material conflict. I've been advised tonight by governance on advice that to maintain quorum, I can declare a general conflict of interest, and I will do so on that basis.
Thank you, Councillor Kerrison. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Doherty. Happy to declare a conflict of interest for item 14.4, which is GRFMA annual business plan, due to being a elected board member. And same as my fellow colleague, Councillor Kerrison, I'll also declare a general conflict of interest for item number 15.3, which is the 25 confidential order review CEO. Previously declared it as being material, but under the Act being given the legal advice that due to quorum and to maintain business, I will be declaring a general, and I'll thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll declare a conflict of interest in item 15.4, which is the 2025 Confidential Orders Review, Corporate Services and City Services. As I've declared the relevant conflict of interest in a matter or matters listed in the report, I'll declare a material conflict of interest in the item. I will not take part in the discussion of the item, move any motions, participate in the debate or vote, and will leave the room. And I'll also declare a conflict of interest in item 15.5, the 2025 Confidential Orders Review, City Assets. As I have declared the relevant conflict of interest in a matter or matters listed in the report, I will declare a material conflict of interest in the item. I will not partake in the discussion of the item, move any motions, participate in the debate or vote, and I will leave the room. Are there any other declarations from members? No? Then we move on to item 4, Mayor's Report. Number of items on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, from end of season presentations to the number of different school events, the launch of the Adelaide Filipino Lions Club here in our community, a number of different meetings, tours, events for the end of season. They're all there listed on the screen, a number of Independence Day and New Year celebrations as well. So they'll be there in the minutes for your perusal. So we'll go to item 5, reports of representatives of council on other organisations. Are there any? We go to item 6, which is the reports by councillors. We have the information session record of attendance and the any other reports by councillors. Councillor on your hands.
Thank you, Mayor. So I would like to add thank yous to my report there. So yeah, I just want to acknowledge the staff members who ensured the safety and well-being of our residents by delivering their work in a timely manner. Their efforts have not gone unnoticed by our community members, particularly those near the vicinity around the Anderson Walk area. So a big thank you to Mr. Paul Alberton's team for their timely response to the safety and convenience of the community members using Palari Road. Also, thank you to Mr. Luke Manning's team for their quick response in addressing the safety issues at Elephant Walk along Anderson Walk. And I would also like to extend my thank you to Ms. Tina Hudson and Elena Casciano, Tom Madigan's team, particularly Visna's team, and the Community Grants and Administration team for their hard work and dedication in providing invaluable assistance to the newly chartered Adelaide Filipino Lions Club. The Filipino Lions Club is truly in awe of your friendly and helpful approach, which is complemented by the professionalism at the core of your work. So thank you for your continued commitment to making Playford a better place for all. Thank you, staff. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor on his hands. Councillor Small-Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I just want to echo with the efforts of the council staff. In particular, on Saturday the 12th of April, we had an open day at the precinct. I didn't attend that, but for the feedback that I heard from the residents, that it was really well done. I did attend the toy swap and also the Easter markets at the John McVitie Centre, and they were absolutely fun. I took the 2 small kids. The whole inside area of the John McVitie Centre was utilised well by our community. And to finish off the day, we ended up, the evening, we went and watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory within the function room there, and it was just really well done. So thank you again to the council staff for putting on such a great event for our community.
Councillor Small-Smith.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to mention the Cambodian New Year that both you and I attended last Sunday. It was an absolutely wonderful event, and it was really, really wonderful to see that the inside of the temple is almost complete. It was looking beautiful, and they've done a wonderful job with it, and I can't wait now for the opening. But it was a great event. The rain stayed off, but the dust was still there. But a really, really wonderful event, the New Year, and yes, it was really great.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wishing to make a report? If not, then we'll go down to item 7, reports of representatives, conferences and training programs. No. Move to item 8, questions on notice. There's a number of questions from Councillor Onyazans, which you will note are in the agenda paper. So we'll move to item 9, questions without notice. Are there any questions? Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. Have 3. Is there a freight transport route through the city of Playford? Are the roads in Playford made to adequately take B-dubs to road trains, transport vehicles? And is the Playford Council, if there isn't any, is the Playford Council looking at applying for such a route through Playford?
Mr Pattinson.
There are a variety of freight transport routes through Playford, gazetted for different class vehicles. My understanding is there are none gazetted for road trains, but certainly for B doubles there are gazetted routes, which are done through the state government. Specifically, City of Playford's not looking for funding to upgrade the freight routes. But we are working with the state government around areas such as Greater Edinburgh Parks and the potential for freight routes through that area. But that will be led by the state government rather than the City of Playford.
Can I just ask one more question? Is there a time frame when the double trucks are allowed on busy roads in the community of Playford?
If they're a gazetted road for B doubles, they can use those roads any time of the day. They tend to be Heaslip Road. My understanding is Warren Road's also gazetted for B doubles, but Heaslip Road's probably the major one within the city.
So,
Councillor Hall, do you ask another question?
Yes, please.
Councillor Hall.
So where would we find that information as to what roads are and what transport vehicles are allowed to be on those roads? There's a state government website that lists all the transport routes across South Australia. We can take that on notice and provide a memo with a map showing those transport routes. So we don't have one on Playford website?
Councillor Hall, it's not a debating session.
No, I'm just asking if we have one on Playford website.
No, the state government maintains the
okay,
website.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr Pattinson. Are there any other questions? If not, Councillor Halls, would you like your questions and accompanying responses recorded in the minutes? Yes, please. So that's moved by Councillor Halls. Does it find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Onyazans.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't wishing to speak to that. Any other councillor wishing to speak to that? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against, I declare that carried. Move to item 10, petitions which are nil. Move to item 11, deputations, representations which are nil. Move to item 12, motions on notice which are nil. Move to item 13, motions without notice. Are there any motions? No motions. We'll move on to item 14, committee reports. Item 14.1, fraud and corruption control policy. Councillor Onyazans.
Yeah, happy to move the recommendation. Obviously, it's all recent out on this paper. It is obviously great to have a sound and appropriate internal control mechanism in place, such as this document in front of us. So, it's good.
Thank you, Councillor Onyazans. Does it find a seconder? Councillor Halls.
Thank you very much. I'll second that, and thank you to the staff for and the policy committee for putting it together.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. Any other councillors wishing to speak on the item? If there's no other councillors wishing to speak, I'll put that item. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 14.2, fees and charges 2526. Councillor Baker.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Baker. Does it find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Onyazans.
Yeah. Do not wish to speak.
No worries. Any other councillor wishing to speak? Councillor Small-Janik.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I just have a couple of questions. With regards to, I guess, dot point number 2, saying that CEO can make grammatical amendments, for addition under the, let's say, animal management with the 2025-26 fee comments, is that, if I request to add comments within that text box, would that come under amendment that does not alter the intent of the document? So, just as a question, my intention would be, noting that we've had a removal of the confusing and the amount of registrations for dogs, if we can annotate clearly within that fee comment to state what is a non-standard dog. A non-standard dog is a not desexed and microchipped animal, and that's not clearly annotated in there. So if possible, could we annotate within the comments what is a non-standard dog with a concession, what's a standard dog, etc.
Thank you, Councillor Smiljanec. The CEO is just conferring with the relevant General Manager. Mr Graham.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, thanks Councillor Smiljanec. I was just checking with my colleague around the status of the fee comment box, because I was of the view and still am that that's for the purposes of assisting you for decision making. What will actually be promoted on the website will be something that we'll use as a descriptor, so we'll actually need to put perhaps a little bit of clarity in the descriptor. So I just wanted to manage your expectations that you won't actually see the fee comment, and that we will put some effort into creating the right fee descriptor, which I think will achieve the same purposes. And in that respect, part 2 of the recommendation would enable me, in my view, to clarify the fee description. Just wanted you to be clear that we won't have the fee comment box.
No worries. Thank you for clarifying that, Mr Green. I do have one more question with regards to the prescribed dog collars, which is actual cost. I was wondering, do council have different sizes of dog collar sizes for, I guess, the dogs? And in accordance, further to that, not only do we have different sizes for dog collars, but do we have the actual associated registration tag to be varied size as well for, I guess, a tiny dog rather than having a big dog registration tag, and if that's optional for our residents?
Mr Tilo.
Thank you, Councillor Smiljanec. To answer your question, yes, we do have different size collars that do vary depending on the size of the animal. As far as registration tags go, no. They're not typically provided these days. That's the whole idea of microchipping. That information's in DACO itself.
Okay, thank you very much. I have no further questions, but I would like to make a comment. Since the last strategy and services meeting, we did discuss this, and I sort of questioned why we were removing so many, and I guess I felt like it was those residents who are training their dogs are essentially almost paying a bit more than, I guess, a person who has an untrained dog. I did a bit of research for other councils around the area, and if we're either on par or actually cheaper than other councils around our area for dog registration. So I won't raise anything further with the costs. I think our team are managing it quite well, and I'm happy with how it sits at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smiljanec. Any other councillor wishing to speak on the item? If not, Councillor Baker has the right to close if she wishes. She does not. So I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 14.3, Amendment to Delegations Register. Councillor Halls.
I move the motion, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. Does the item find a seconder? Councillor Onyezans.
Yes, happy to second that, Mayor. Thank you. I do not wish.
Does any other councillor wish to speak on the item? If no other councillor wishes to speak on the item, then I will put that. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried. Move to item 14.4, Gawler River Floodplain Management Authority, Draft Annual Business Plan and Budget 25-26. Councillors, does somebody wish to move something? Councillor Halls.
Move the committee recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. Moves the committee recommendation. Does it find a seconder?
Happy to second. Don't wish to speak.
Seconded by Councillor Strollett. Does any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. A question. The draft Gawler River Management Authority plan that we are about to endorse, can I ask the question, is that likely to be impacted by the recent correspondence that we have just received?
Mr Pattinson.
It's probably more related to the Adelaide Hills request to withdraw. If a minister does approve that, then that could occur from the beginning of a financial year. It would have an impact on the operating position of the board. The board would need to consider that and to determine if they can manage it within the budget itself. But until a decision's been made, the premise is that the budget is progressed as is.
So you will consider it still appropriate to endorse it?
Yes. Any other councillors wishing to speak on the item? No. Councillor Halls, you have the right to close if you wish.
No, thank you. That's fine.
No. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Just wait for Councillor Marsh to return. Now, councillors, with your indulgence, you will note that before we move on to item 15.1, we also have a corporate governance committee item 17.1, which relates to 25-26 draft annual business plan and budget and long-term financial plan listed as a confidential matter. So with your indulgence, we shall bring that forward so that you can consider that before we go through the other items that are listed for 15.1, which is the draft 25-26 annual business plan and budget, long-term financial plan, strategic asset management plan for public consultation. So we'll move to item 17.1, which is page 498 of your papers. So as per our usual practice, councillors, when it comes to this item, is to give you a chance to look at that item before we move on to the item listed in the budget paper. Councillor Strollett.
Happy to move the staff recommendation.
So you're happy to move pursuant to 92 of the Local Government Act 1999, an order is made that the public is excluded from attendance at the meeting, with the exception of the relevant staff under section 93B. That's what you're moving? Yep. So find a seconder.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Happy to second.
Happy to second.
Thank you.
Councillors, we're just having a note from our CEO that we probably should also, as you would note, the chair of our Corporate Governance Committee will be giving us a presentation at item 15.1, and he is also here, so the CEO has suggested, with your indulgence, that he obviously be included in the meeting. So I'll ask the mover and the seconder, are you happy for that to occur? Yes? All right, councillors, so we've got a motion that's been moved and seconded. Does someone wish to speak to the item? Anyone wish to speak to the item? If no one wishes to speak to the item, then I will put that. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. So I ask that the doors be closed and the gallery be vacant.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin.
Okay, councillors, we're now back on live stream, so we'll now move on to item 15.1, which is the draft 25-26 annual business plan and budget, long-term financial plan and strategic asset management plan for public consultation. And this will also include a presentation from the chair of our Corporate Governance Committee, Mr. Mark Labaz, who is here. And I'll hand over to Mr. Labaz. As you would know, each year our chair of our Corporate Governance Committee comes along and has his say, along with information from the committee in relation to the draft strategic budget plans, etc. So I'll hand over to Mr. Labaz.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, elected members, for giving me the opportunity just to present some short points that the committee discussed in relation to the 25-26 draft annual business plan and the long-term financial plan. We considered and reviewed the 26-25 financial draft annual business plan and long-term financial plan at our committee meeting, which was held on the 1st of April. The committee specifically noted the informal discussions that the Chamber had in February and March 2025, where Council was balancing the consideration of new projects and services proposed to be delivered to your community in the 25-26 annual business plan, but equally important, and also maintaining existing services and Council's considerations of those costs of delivering those existing services and new services and projects, and potential funding pathways that were available for the community. Committee considered the following, in specifically, services and projects proposed to be delivered to the community, the cost pressures that were impacting Council over the 25 and 26 financial year, and the funding pathways that were available to fund the 25-26 annual business plan in order to maintain that lower end of the structural surplus target ratio. The committee also considered the sustainability of Council's financial performance, taking into consideration Council's financial indicators. And it was mentioned earlier this evening, we noted the commercial rates strategy, in particular to reduce the share of rates paid by commercial and industrial sector within the Council from 203% to 135%. We felt that was important, and that the commercial rate in the dollar had been reduced by approximately 40%. We also noted the amount that had been reinvested back into this commercial sector being $2.4 million to date, which was duly noted. The committee also supported the recommendation not to apply 75% as the starting position, as this is now below the structural surplus ratio. And we noted that the rate in the dollar has reduced 23.8% since the 2014-15 financial year. So we were also supportive that for the 25-26 financial year not to apply the structural deficit given cost pressures and CPI impacts. And we also wanted to acknowledge the review of Council's rate in the dollar strategy, which is currently being undertaken. The committee also noted the hardship assistance process here at Playford, where ratepayers have the genuine intention to but not the financial capacity to make scheduled payments. We noted that 0.84%, or only 390 ratepayers, have entered into such a payment plan, which is, from recollection, less than the 24-25 financial year. And we also acknowledged Council's preparation to waive overdue fines where payment plans were being met. In respect to seniors' rates postponement, we again noted that only 31 ratepayers, or 0.07% of the rateable population, have sought this postponement option. In respect to new capital projects and services, the committee noted the capital budget required for the 25-26 financial year being about $26.24 million for large sport and recreation projects, again to support the community. In respect to financial assumptions for the 25-26 financial year, we had noted that the CPI has now dropped to 2.5% for the 25-26 budget compared to 4.8% this time last year for the 24-25 budget. We noticed and noted the wage price index, a reduction to 4.5% for enterprise bargaining agreement negotiations compared to 5% in the 24-25 financial year. And obviously the interest rate drop to 5.75% compared to 6.15% for the 24-25 financial year. In respect to cost pressures, and again, this is always a challenge for Playford and other local government authorities, many of these cost pressures we acknowledge are outside the control of council, namely increases in prices of contracts for service providers, which are, we noted are well above CPI. We also noted, obviously, we have our superannuation 1.5% increase to meet our legislative obligations, and again, that's beyond the control of council. And we also noted the increase in licence and subscription fees to IT and cybersecurity applications, which are required, and we've all been are aware of cybersecurity risks that can impact the council. But we're, again, out of our control for these fees and subscription fees to rise dramatically. And we also noticed and noted the waste charge rates through Norma, which again have increased and have increased above CPI. In respect to the finance strategy, we noted Council's financial sustainability to try and fund projects and services to the community now and into the future. And a key action being possibly the likely eradication of no more debt from deficits. And also the reduction of bad debt through surplus and asset repurposing, which is a strong financial strategy. In respect to the debt balance, committee noted that the debt balance reduction was down to 4% for the 24-25 financial year, compared to 7% in the 18-19 financial year. So based on those observations, the Corporate Governance Committee, as shown in the recommendation, supported option 1 being a rate rise of 4.54%. This increases the average rate bill to only $1.70 per week or $88 per year. The option 1 rate rise of 4.54% provides a structural surplus of 1.4% or $2.1 million and an operating surplus of $10.7 million. The rate rise is a combination of 2.5% CPI increase plus the balance of the rise attributed to new assets and services that council will be providing to the community. We believe, the community believes, that this option 1 demonstrates financial sustainability by maintaining council's target ratios, but allowing flexibility to meet unforeseen events and community requirements, which it's important to plan for those unforeseen events. This rate rise will allow for the continuation of existing services, as I discussed previously, but as well as funding and allowing for new projects and services to the community. The rate increase, the committee believed, was consistent to support inflationary pressures on existing services and the provision of new services, with the increased addressing cost pressures, which, as I've stated and as committee acknowledges, most of which are outside of council's control. But it does demonstrate prudential financial management. The budget also includes continuous improvement savings to help fund part of the budget as well. And finally, and most importantly, we consider that the budget preparation has been well considered and comprehensive in terms of economic and financial challenges that Playford as a growth council will face. So I'd like to thank you for your time this evening in just presenting briefly our views in respect to the option 1 rate rise of 4.54%. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Labaz? Any questions from members? If not, then thank you very much for your comprehensive report. Thank you.
Your Worship.
So, councillors, we move on to item 15, well, we're part of 15.1 still, draft 25-26, annual business plan and budget, long-term financial plan and strategic asset management plan for public consultation. Councillor Halls.
I'd like to move the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. Does the item find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Baker. I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't wishing to speak? No. Any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Smiljaney.
Hello there, Mayor Doherty. I just have a couple of questions. First one is page 216 of our report. And 216 annotates under the park and sports field renewals, it's got the suburb as various sites and multiple irrigation controllers, and then the item itself is an irrigation controller. Would staff be able to provide some various site areas that they could guide where these controllers would be placed?
Mr Welsh.
Through the Mayor, sorry Councillor, I can't provide that level of detail. I can definitely provide a memo though with that information before the plan goes out for consultation.
That would be great, thank you. And I do have a further question with regards to 217, which you may be able to assist through the Mayor. Under 217, building renewals, it's also very similar where you've got the suburb as various, location master keying upgrade, and master key upgrade as the item. I'm just wondering if these are council buildings or sports buildings, just out of curiosity.
Mr Welsh.
Through the Mayor, yeah, so they are council buildings. There's lots of different types of buildings that council operates, so sports club buildings, for example, community buildings. So it'd be council owned buildings throughout the entire city.
No worries. I'm happy with that answer, and thank you. I also want to get a question on page 225. We talk about the design only being done on Stebeneath Road, in between Bell Chambers Road and Wommer Road. It's looking at the road renewal as a design only. I was wondering if staff would be able to guide if there is any ideas or thoughts or possible intentions for this road. Those who drive along it obviously know that it is in need of an upgrade. I'm just wondering if staff are already looking at what's the intentions with that road moving forward.
Mr Welsh.
Through the Mayor, so my understanding from a design perspective, there's parts of that road that represent or reflect more of a sort of rural design. So the design is turning into an urban standard road. We'll be doing detailed design 1 year and then come back and do construction the following year.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. That's all the questions. I would like to make comment now. Thank you. My comment is overall the annual business plan, it's quite detailed, and we are often as councillors spoken to a lot prior to the night and before it going to public consultation. So a lot of the issues and the concerns that I have raised and other members around this room have raised, they are being looked at, and I think there is a nice variety and not, I guess, all of City of Playford are being looked at in various places. Not everything can be done overnight, and it's good to see that there are different areas from the planning stage into the construction, into full execution phase, so and then into the completion phase. So it's good that the annual business plan does talk about that and breaks it down. I found that this annual business plan, compared to others, have been it's quite easy to understand, and it's not so complex with regards to what staff are actually trying to do for our community. And I guess the main takeaway that I find very thankful and something that I have had a lot of residents concerned about was, in particular, on page 223's Turner Drive in Craigmore, having a pedestrian activated crossing which intersects onto Yorktown Road. I'm so grateful that staff are listening to our residents. It's close to shops, close to schools, it's a busy road. I'm just so thankful for that. So thank you for keeping our community safe, and I look forward to seeing what the public have to say. And something I really want to promote is that we need to hear your voice from the residents. So if you're listening online, if you're going, you hopefully hear from us councillors on our socials. If you have anything to say, please make sure, if this does get carried tonight, to have your say. Read the annual business plan, and please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us for further clarification.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Doherty. Just got a question following on from a colleague in relation to Stebeneath Road. acknowledging that that road is a rural road at the moment, which is starting to turn into a commercial precinct. So I'm glad you picked this up. I didn't see this. Are we putting any sort of deed or commercial strategy forward to leverage the commercial precinct that's been established along that road, ring fencing it, or asking developers to contribute towards this road upgrade in years to come?
Mr Welsh.
No, I don't believe we are, through the Mayor. We're doing renewal of that road, so I guess through the design process we'll be looking at what the future use of that road needs to look like, so we can share what the final design looks like before we undertake construction, councillors.
Thanks for that. Probably a message to you, Sam Green. I would have thought by default, when we know our area well and we're transitioning a rural area into a commercial precinct, that it would trigger through our processes a desktop discussion into a more formal discussion in relation to leveraging external funding for these particular roads. So can I just ask through the Mayor to you, Sam, at your level, have we actually got this mechanism set up? And I would expect it, as a councillor, that it's done each and every time.
Mr Green.
Through Mr Mayor, thanks Councillor Marsh. It's the right question to be asking. I think Mr Pattinson's got some more detailed information that can assist with your question.
Mr Pattinson.
So it's standard practice when we're looking at a rezoning to try and get a contribution from landholders. The area we're talking about is already zoned for industrial purposes, so there isn't actually a mechanism to require the developers to necessarily contribute to that. There would be conversations through the development assessment stage where there's entrances into that site to ensure that they're appropriately designed for the traffic movements within that. But to sum up, it's already zoned land, so there is limited mechanisms to set up an infrastructure scheme over it.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Doherty. I think that just gives a prime example of the failings, right? When we've got existing zoned areas in our city of Playford and we want to commercialise them, that there's no mechanism in the Act for our local government to get some external pressure. So I think that's something that we really need to take on, that if there are existing areas that have changed, we've just heard it tonight, that the leverage and the power of local government is very, very restricted. Let's keep that in the back of the mind. I do like this annual business plan that we've done. I think it's quite broad, and I think we just got to look as well, upwards of $40 million of renewal or replacement of existing infrastructure. And further to that, another gripe of mine is seeing $40 million of gifted assets coming from developers to us as well, something that's very hard for councils to budget when we have a lot of new parks and infrastructure coming on. So, something that I would love to see developers probably take on for a good couple of years, up to 5 years, when they give and bring some open space, and not be so quick to palm open space onto local council while we're waiting for our local area to grow. But well done to staff, and I look forward to our community providing feedback. Thank you.
Any other councillors wishing to speak on the item? If not, Councillor Halls, you have the right to close if you wish. Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to say that between the council staff and this elected body, we've done a good job of putting this together and coming up with a decent rate, and to get the activities, try and get the activities through that all our residents want. Sometimes things have to take a bit of a backseat, and we progress them as soon as we can, and I think we're doing a marvellous job of getting it all done in timely fashion.
Thank you, Councillor. We've got the motion that's before us, so I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Division's been called by Councillor Halls. The motion is set aside. Those voting for the motion, if they can rise in their place. And for the ease of the minute taker, it's everybody. It's unanimous. We'll move on to item 15.2, normal board representation. Councillor Halls.
I'd like to move the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. As the final seconder, Councillor Onuzan.
Yeah, I'd like to second that, Mayor. Thank you.
I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't wishing to speak. Does any other councillor wish to speak on the item? No other councillor wishes to speak. Then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. We move on to item 15.3, 2025 Confidential Orders Review, CEO and attachments. Let's wait a moment for those that have declared their interests. Okay, councillors, I think the relevant members have left the room. Someone wishing to move something? Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Happy to move the staff recommendation. Don't need to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Norris. I'll find a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Halls.
Happy to second that, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillors wishing to speak? If no other councillors are wishing to speak, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? Okay, that carried. We'll just wait a moment to the councillors to return. We'll now move on to the following item, 15.4.
Okay, 15.4, 2025 Confidential Orders Review, Corporate Services and City Services on page 409. Someone wishing to move? Next one.
Next, the speaking voice.
Okay. Councillor Onuzan.
Yeah, happy to move that.
Thank you.
Recommendation.
Someone happy to second? Councillor Strout?
Happy to second, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak? No. Put the item to the floor. All in favour? All against? Declare it carried. Yeah, but I have to do this. Okay, just in regards to the next item, as Mayor Doherty and I have declared a conflict of interest in item 15.5, and I'll leave the room, it's necessary to appoint a council member present in the chamber to preside over the meeting. Does someone wish to move a motion to that effect? Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Yes, I move Councillor Kerrison take over.
Thank you. Find a seconder. Councillor Onuzan.
Yeah, I second that. Thank
you. Anyone wishing to speak? All in favour? All against? Declare that carried. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so we're now at 15.5, 2025 Confidential Orders and Review City Assets. We have a staff recommendation before us. Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Resolution.
Thank you. Councillor Stroh, are you happy to, hang on, pressing the wrong button, sorry. Councillor Stroh, are you happy to second that?
Yes, don't wish to speak, thank you.
Thank you. I'll put that to the floor. Any questions or debate? If they're not, I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Thank you.
All right, councillors, we'll move on to item 15.6, Mill Road, Waterloo Corner Code Amendment. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to endorse the staff recommendation.
Thank you, councillors. Final seconder, Councillor Halls.
Happy to second that, but I just have a question.
You can go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm wondering why we're doing a staff recommendation for this. Isn't it already in our annual business plan that we've just approved to do this?
Mr. Pattinson.
It was just a question.
This item is separate to the anything within the annual business plan. It's responding to a code amendment that's currently out on public consultation by a private entity.
Councillor Small-Jane.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. The only thing I wish to focus on this is that it's really good to see that when we are asked for any advice with regards to, let's say, any amendments, that the council really take their due diligence in making sure that they're doing right for our community. So you'll see on page 445 that you will actually see council is not supportive for this draft being approved until, you know, other parameters are met. So I look at the fact that, you know, on page 445 in para 2, you've got council is not supportive until funding arrangements have been enabled for infrastructure, whether it's via infrastructure scheme or deed, or a combination of both is finalised. So it's good to see that we are in this particular situation, that our team and our staff are looking long-term vision and having that down in writing, and to be able to continue to maintain those professional relationships with potential developers, but noting that we do have guidelines to follow to ensure that in 10 to 15 plus years, we're not caught out in perhaps some mistakes that have been made previously before us on council. So well done to the staff.
Thank you, councillor. Any other councillor wishing to speak? Councillor Marsh, you wishing to close the debate?
Yeah,
Were you asking a question first?
Nah, close off.
Okay. Oh, well, you'd have the right to close as the...
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Matt Doherty. I just want to really just send a strong message that I so hope that we've learnt from our past. This is from the state government, the City of Playford, and if our federal colleagues want to come on board and jump on that. This Greater Edinburgh Park, we're about to initiate it in partnership, or initiate parts of it ourselves. And I really hope that we get the infrastructure in line with growth, we get the mechanisms right in line with growth, and we get the dollar value that appropriate inflation should be applied to it in line with the dollar value of the project itself. When we got to do stormwater, when we got to do sewer, when we got to do open space, roads, because goddamn, we're the ones who have to fork out a lot of money for the stormwater under the road, and it's a lot of stuff we do is below the ground that our community don't get to see. This is a project that's going to go for 20 odd years when it's broadly. So I'm excited about it. I'm pumped to see it. It's our time to shine over the city of Salisbury now with this Greater Edinburgh Park, but we're going to look like fools if it's not done in partnership with our other tiers of government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Councillors, we have the motion that is before us. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Division's been called. The motion is set aside. Those voting by Councillor Halls. Those voting for the motion, if they can rise in their place. For the ease of the minute taker, that is everybody. It's unanimous. Councillors, we'll move on to item 15.7, Adelaide Hills Council request to withdraw from the Gawler River Floodplain Management Authority. And councillors, you would also be aware too on this item that a letter came in today from the Barossa Council, which we sent to you, but there are some copies here if you haven't seen that via the memo that came in late this afternoon. Has anyone not seen it? Okay. Yeah, we'll hand them out. It came in late this afternoon and we flicked it out to just what the Barossa Council, when they looked at the matter, I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday last week, when they looked at it, but it came in today. So I'll give you a few moments to read that, councillors. Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to declare a conflict of interest, material one, on item 15.7, the Adelaide Hills Council request withdrawal due to being a GRFMA board member, and I'll leave the room.
We'll give you a few moments to read that, councillors. Give you a few more moments and then we'll open it up for discussion. All right, councillors, we're in item 15.7. So does somebody wish to move something? Councillor Vanderpeer.
Happy to move. Don't need to second. Sorry, don't need to speak.
I was about to say, you move, you can't second, but thank you for your enthusiasm. Moved by Councillor Vanderpeer. Does the item find a seconder? Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Could I just speak to it as well?
You can speak to it.
Look, I think if that's what they want to do, we just agree with it. It's their decision, isn't it? I don't agree with what they're doing, but we can't do anything about it, so just go with the flow.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Look, I get that everyone's like just going, okay, just let them go, but I have serious implications for Adelaide Hills and now Barossa questioning their, I guess, financial position on it and the benefits as well, that there are some concerns there that, you know, we're going to end up bearing the weight of all of this, and I think it's the responsibility of all constituent councils. You know, they might not have the same issues we do, but then we effectively help them with theirs. So, you know, I'm interested to see what the outcome is and if this has a chain effect.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Smiljanich.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I did question it. So for those who are not tracking, with regards to the response that we're looking at providing is just saying, hey, look, if the Adelaide Hills Council want to leave, it's sort of like, hey, that's a bit unfair for the City of Playford. You're contributing to the GRFMA, and by them leaving, perhaps it will essentially affect our City of Playford residents and community. So I guess my concern and my question, and I probably need someone to maybe clarify, but it does state here that the Adelaide Hills Council, when I read this, that they only contribute to, their capital works and maintenance of the assets of the authority being only 1.73%, but yet they are equitable. And can I just get clarification that the Adelaide Hills Council, do they contribute the same amount as our City of Playford Council, or do they pay a pro rata, noting that they're only for 1.73%?
Mr Pattinson.
So the charter outlines the relative contribution of each council.
Yeah.
So for the the management of the authority, the cost of that is split equally between all constituent council members.
Yeah.
However, if there's capital expenditure, then it's done on a proportional basis, and Adelaide Hills Council contribute 1.17%.
Okay. Seen that's on page 482, which that clarifies what I was just asking. Thank you. I have nothing further. No questions.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wishing to speak? Councillor Craig. Mr Green.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, thanks Councillor Craig. It's an important question because it is an important issue for us. If I take you back post the 2016 floods of the Gawler River, I think at the time we had the Premier of the state and the Prime Minister of the country come out and suggest that they would contribute funding towards a flooding solution from the Gawler River. Not long after that, the then Malala Council, now known as Adelaide Plains Council, threatened to leave the GRFMA. It's my view that at that point in time, that gave the state government and probably indeed the federal government an out in terms of their ongoing contribution to flood mitigation, because they were, in my view, using language along the lines of, if local government isn't going to stick together on this, then why would we make a contribution? Fortunately, the Minister of the day, I think, made it clear that they weren't going to support Adelaide Plains leaving the GRFMA. But here we are nearly 10 years later, and just reminding you that the Gawler River has a habit of flooding about every 10 years. Here we are nearly 10 years later. We've done a lot of work on a business case around what the flood mitigation measures are for the Gawler River. So we've got some good tangible knowledge around what we think the solution is and roughly how much money it might cost. Here we are again, and we've got at least one council, and I suspect Councillor Norris's comments were right, that this could lead to a flow-on impact of one or more councils seeking to leave the GRFMA. What I'm really worried about is in the event that that happens, we'll find ourselves back where we were nearly 10 years ago, with the state government and federal government saying, well, if local government's not going to stick together on this, why should we be part of the solution? The ultimate loser in all of that is the community. And I think it's really important at this point in time for the GRFMA to stick together. I've made that view really clear to my CEO colleagues from all of the councils, that I think now is not the time to disband or for people to leave the GRFMA. 12 months out from a state election, you can imagine what that would do for our leverage in terms of seeking state funding towards a solution. I think it's not the time to have anyone leave the GRFMA, which is why our suggested response is that we oppose that for the Minister. To your question around, Councillor Craig, should we be making a submission to the Minister? Effectively, this is our submission to the Minister, saying that we don't support those moves. Once we've got an agreed funding pathway for the flood mitigation works for the Gawler River, I think there probably is a conversation to be had about the future of the GRFMA, but it's not now. Now is the worst time to have it, in my view. I think if it occurs now, then we are going to lose a lot of the momentum that we've built over nearly the last 10 years, and we really run the risk of not getting a solution. And again, the problem for that is that the Gawler River on history is likely to flood in the not too distant future, and if we don't have mitigation works planned or underway or delivered, then the community will suffer again.
Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, Councillor Van der Peer has the right to close if she wishes. No? All right, councillors, I'll put the motion that is before us. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. We'll just wait for Councillor Marsh's return. We'll move on to item 15.8, Corporate Governance Committee Communique. Councillor Onyezans.
Yeah, happy to move this staff recommendation.
Thank you, councillors. I'll find a seconder. Councillor Halls.
Yes, I happily second that, thank you.
I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't wishing to speak on the item. No. Does any other councillor wish to speak? No. If no other councillor wishes to speak, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move on to item 15.9, Budget Update Report. Councillor Baker.
Move the recommendation.
Thank you, councillors. I'll find a seconder. Councillor Strowett.
I'll second that. Don't wish to speak.
I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't wishing to speak. Any other councillor wishing to speak? If there's no other councillor wishing to speak, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 16, informal discussions, which are nil. We have item 17, which we've already dealt with earlier on in the agenda. So we'll move to item 18, which is the closure, and I'll close the meeting at 8:18 p.m. and thank you all for your attendance.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe